Good morning, Errol.
Hello. How are you doing today, Lieutenant?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Fantastic. I got to tell you how proud I am of you, of Homicide Hunter, because when we were watching this in the early stages of it, I was always at the end going, I'm not done yet. And yet now you've done something where we really get to get into the story.
You certainly do. This is a 32-year investigation.
32 years. I mean, but in the blink of an eye, 32 years can go by. And it's like, how have you kept your focus and to keep people supporting you? Because you know how people are. 32 years to them is like, what? Come on, Lieutenant.
Yeah, well, the object of the game is simple. Never, ever give up.
Yep.
You took an oath to tell and find the truth. And that's what it means. That's what it means. It's an oath.
One of the things that
you have to protect the interests of the victim.
My wife and I have talked about you so many times because I always say that you listen beyond sound. You see beyond what the rest of us see. It's like you can see through walls. Is that part of your gift?
I have a abiding interest in human nature.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's been very helpful to me. When I talk to someone, for example, in an interrogation or even in an interview, my thought in my head is, tell me a story I'm going to believe.
Oh.
Tell me something that someone would actually do. Not what you want to say to me, because what you're saying to me is probably a lie. But tell me something that makes sense to me. And many times they do not. And that raises an eyebrow.
Is there something in their vocal tones? Because I really listen to pitch, volume, and tone. And when somebody speaks out of tune, I'll sit there and say, do you want to redo that one? Because I didn't buy into that.
Oh, of course. And there's many things I pay attention to. Body language, eye movement, voice. But more importantly, what you say. Because I'll wait 2 hours after you tell me your tale as to why you're not involved in this. And how could I think you were, because you're as innocent as the driven snow. So you say to yourself, oh, okay, tell me what happened. Then they do, and they lie. And what I want is for you to tell me a lie. Because if you'll lie to me, I'm talking to the right guy. So you wait a couple hours and just say, you told me what happened, but I don't know, I kind of forgot what you said. Can you tell me again? Well, of course, he can't tell you again because he was lying the first time, but he tries to tell you that there are changes and there are subtleties that are different. And you encounter that difference. You slam your notebook on the table and you say, well, my. Now, 2 hours ago, you said this. And now you say this. Were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or maybe you're just a liar. What do you think? And all of a sudden, you put him off balance. His plan is not working. And that's what you want him to be off balance.
One of the things that I try to share with people is to not live in their past, because the very second you get out of your past, you start rewriting your story. And that's exactly what you just said, is that we rewrite that story over and over again.
We do. Human nature.
Wow.
Humans are predictable. They don't like to think they are, but they are. We're only 15 minutes out of a tree. We just wear nicer clothes. And we remain the most dangerous animal on this planet.
I agree.
Animals kill for need. Humans kill for pleasure. There is no more dangerous thing than that.
A female soldier, a killer, a shadow in the night. You've got to put the puzzle pieces together, and on our side of the flat screen, I mean, you have this way of bringing us into the story. It's not about watching TV. We are now a part of your process.
That's intentional on my part. I want you to feel what's going on. And I can tell a story in such a way that draws you in. Errol, for thousands of years, people have gathered around the fire at night and said, tell me a story. And if you tell it well, they'll ask you to tell another. And that's all I am, a storyteller.
Were you inspired by things like radio theater? I mean, the radio mystery theater, or was Paul Harvey a part of your process? Somebody had to inspire you to get this cadence down.
No, no one ever did.
Wow.
It's just me. I'm the same guy that I've been my whole life. You know, the difference is I'm more widely known these days. But other than that, there's no difference in that.
How did you sit with teachers then? Because teachers would probably, I mean, because I am an instructor, and I know that if I would spend the entire class talking to you if you were in my classroom.
You always want to get people to talk to you, and I would be unfailingly nice. I would never use profanity. I would never yell at anyone.
Right.
I'm very calm. You know, let's talk about this. Let's take those handcuffs off. We probably don't need those, do we? Oh no, we don't need those. Okay, let's take them off. You set a tone that you're having a conversation with someone, and given enough time, they forget where they are.
Yep.
Which is in a police station, and they forget who they're talking to, which is a policeman. They think they're in a bar talking to the guy who's sitting next to them. And that's what you want. You want them to completely relax, and then you jerk the rug out from under them. And now you have him exposed, and that's more interesting. You're not going to get a confession. Confessions are very rare. Yeah. They're very rare. You may get statements, you may get some incrimination, but you're not going to get the truth because they're incapable of telling you that. They know that that dooms them. And they still have an explanation for what they did. And as preposterous as it is sometimes, they offer one anyway. It's the old story, the kid never changes from the time he's a little kid. Mm-hmm. Did you eat the cookie? No, Mom, I didn't eat the cookie. What about the cookie dust on your chin? And why is the lid off the cookie jar? And why are you standing next to it? Well, I don't know. Yeah, okay. So now you're 40. You're 40. And you're telling me, oh, I didn't eat the cookie. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
That was my father used to tell us all the time, do not play basketball at the school. And we would sit there and get so angry. And he said, you know, the very second that someone breaks into that school and you're playing basketball, you're guilty. You're the one that's up for the crime. Mm-hmm. And I lived by that rule. And it's like, okay, I have to be aware of where I am and know what my real story is.
Exactly. And most people are not. Most criminals form a plan in less than 5 minutes through a mist of alcohol and drugs before they carry out their criminal act. There is no malice of forethought because they're not smart enough for that.
Right.
They're instinctual. They respond to the moment. And then they don't know how to cover that up because they didn't give it any thought to begin with. So that's what happened.
Wow. Well, congratulations on Homicide Hunter. I love this new format. I hope it does not ever go away. You give us time to breathe and to become one of your team partners on this. I'm just so proud of you, Lieutenant.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a very nice thing to say.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.